Welcome back to your favorite podcast to listen to on this beautiful Monday. This is BrownieBits, and with me as always is the old Man Hoodrich. How are you, my friend?
Oh, not too bad, guys. Hey, I'm gonna throw this out there right now, guys. It was a rough week. Ethel and I did go to counseling the other day, so we could put these hashtag divorced Ethel rumors behind us. And if you guys missed it, go check our Twitter, and definitely look at the tweets from this past week, because it has been a tumultuous time, pretty rough in my life. I don't know how hard it's been on Ethel, because apparently I'm not the best listener.
Oh, man.
But hey, we got through it, and hopefully hashtag divorce Ethel is behind us.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad that you guys managed to work something out. So, and managed to at least hopefully get back onto the right footing. So, congrats.
Thanks. It's been especially surprising to me, because March Madness has been dropped upon us.
Oh, yes.
And every March, my life gets consumed by this. Even though I don't really follow basketball, March Madness ultimately consumes my soul because of how great a concept it is. You got this year, you've got number one seeded teams losing to the number 16 team.
Yeah.
First time in history that's ever happened.
And it was a blowout, not even close.
Oh, yeah.
It was
And
ugly.
before the game, those guys from University of Maryland, Baltimore County, one of them won 3 games of Fortnite in a row. So...
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that did happen. Oh,
yeah.
my gosh.
So, also their Twitter account played better than the basketball team. And that's
which is saying a lot, because I believe their basketball team shot something like 76% or something like that.
Unheard of.
It was ridiculous. And
their Twitter account roasted 100% of people that night.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was
anyway,
absolutely
guys,
amazing.
With March Madness being upon us, this episode is going to be dedicated. We built our own bracket, and it's not of basketball teams. It's of action characters.
Yes.
So we're going to hash it out. We'll bring up the matchups for you on the YouTube. We'll have the bracket in the background. And on the cast box, we'll have a link to the filled out bracket for you guys.
Yes.
So that you guys can view that if you need something to look at or just want to see it when we're done.
Yeah. I do want to say, before we announce the people on this bracket fully, I do want to say I'm happy with the choices that are on here, the people on here. But I am sad that Roger Murtaugh is not on this list.
He must have been too old for this shit. He didn't stay up late enough.
Must have been. All right, let's get into this.
All right, guys. So,
do we want to announce the matchups as we choose to go with them, or do we want to just go down the list?
Let's just go down the list of matchups, because they'll have the visual aids. So let's start up with the play-in game of Jack Sparrow versus Barbosa,
which is epic.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, man. Both have very good qualities.
Oh, very good.
Bring to the table,
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to throw this out there. These characters were thrown into here. The seeds don't matter right now.
No.
Just wanted to throw them out there and get them talked about. So before anybody gets all up in arms about, well, why is he ranked number 1? And all that kind of shit.
We could not find a fill out or a fillable bracket that did not have the numbers on it. So that was just what we had to deal with, which is okay.
So it is what it is. We're just throwing it out there. And this is like the best character, not necessarily who would win in a fight per se. It's who's the best character.
Yes.
So all kinds of aspects of these characters will be evaluated by the 2 experts that you have in this viewing or listening box today.
Yes.
So we will get started with Jack Sparrow versus Barbossa. Ding, 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 ding.
All right. Well, let me make a real quick case for Captain Jack Sparrow. This
Okay.
guy, okay, not once, not twice, but 3 times was he marooned on a desert island or deserted island, and with one pistol, 1 round, and nothing to drink, nothing to eat. And he
Well, hey,
managed to get off of that island each time.
Okay.
Just
I don't want to cut you off, so are you done?
yes.
Okay. My counterpoint to that, I think Barbossa speaks for himself here. I'll say a couple words on his behalf. Barbossa just a total badass. He fucking was able to stab Jack in the back, get the treasure, take over the crew, and get the crew to like him more than Jack. He's the lovable villain, if you will, in my eyes. And the counterpoint to your Jack Sparrow will be, okay, yes, he was stranded on a deserted island. However, that island was a rum runner's island, if you will remember.
Yes.
So really, all he had to do was survive until they came back to get their rum, and manage not to drink enough of the rum to piss them off.
Yeah, but that's in and of itself a feat to not piss them off, the rum runners. The he but going into the island, he didn't know it was a rum runners. He just happened upon it, so he used the tools that he had at his advantage.
Fair enough. He's savvy.
Very.
Okay.
The other thing is he sacrificed his life so that he could defeat Barbossa at his own game by stealing the treasure, Cortez's treasure, so that he would become cursed.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Captain Jack has repeatedly put himself, I don't want to say above, but in the advantageous setting for his life.
And then he's always drunk. So that something's got to be said about that.
Yeah. Okay. I think that in and of itself will go ahead and advance Captain Jack on that
All right.
on that feat alone.
Well, there we go. Our first winner. Could you even call it a winner? Because they're both pretty darn badass. All the same.
Yep. I agree. Not that Barbossa's a bad guy. I just gave up heart. I got a soft spot in my heart for Captain Jack. So
yeah, that's hard to choose against Captain Jack.
And then we'll do the play-in games all at once. So we'll decide all the play-in games and then go on to the rest of the bracket like that.
That sounds good to me.
So you want to talk about just Han Solo Chewbacca right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, well, guys, my winner, quote unquote, of this one, I'm gonna have to say Chewbacca because look, he's the underappreciated guy, and I just think he would absolutely in a fight tear apart Han Solo limb from limb.
This is not about being in a fight.
No, I understand, but that just means he's capable of doing it, and for how often that Han Solo pisses him off, like that's as an angry person, I can appreciate that. The fact that Chewie has that restraint, and he's also like the ultimate mechanic.
Oh, yeah, totally. Not only is he literally the best wingman you could possibly ask for in the galaxy, but he like literally can do just about anything.
Oh yeah.
Plus he's got the patience of a saint.
Yes. And I think he's a better shot than Han Solo. I'll say that. I'll throw that out there.
Well, there you go. Okay. But
plus, and Chewbacca is not too old for this shit because he is ancient.
Yes.
Ancient.
Yep, he is. And he's still kicking. Like nothing happens.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, to me, I don't think it's really that big of a fight, but I'm going to try and put up a fight anyways. Han Solo is the man that ran I don't even remember the name. The
the parsec run.
The parsec, yeah, he did that in 12
yeah,
parsecs.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did that in 12 parsecs.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah, hey.
And he gets the girl.
No, I kind of want him to lose for that.
Yeah.
Honestly,
honestly, like I said, I don't think it's much of a competition, but I was going to try anyways.
Yeah.
In the spirit
Honestly,
of March Madness.
If you just want Chewbacca to lose, you're a bad person. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly. In this situation, I don't think there's really Chewie.
He's the lovable guy. We need a lovable character to win one.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Chewbacca's going to do that.
Yes. All right. Jumping over to the other side now. We've got a very interesting matchup on this one. So we have King Leonidas versus Maximus, and this one is difficult for both of us.
Oh, this is probably the hardest one we've had so far.
Yeah, I think
because look, Maximus, like Russell Crowe in Gladiator, that's fucking badass.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was left for dead after his army got ambushed, and he ended up back in Rome as a gladiator. He was able to pull himself back up, kick everybody else's ass, and all the while, his family's just living in disgrace and all kinds of stuff. And he can't do anything about it until he rises back up through the ranks
mm-hmm.
to claim what's rightfully his.
Yeah, and he does it.
Mm-hmm.
That's truly a badass character.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have King Leonidas, who, he commanded an army of 300 versus the Persians. And the Persian army, nonetheless, that was 10,000 in number.
Yes. It takes a certain kind of person to fucking Spartan kick somebody into a big ass hole.
Yeah, that was my next point. It takes some type of a person.
Mm-hmm. But the balls on King Leonidas,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say probably the balls on King Leonidas and Maximus are equal.
Yes, very easy. Mm-hmm.
I'm torn. I am so torn.
I'm very torn too. When you're either one, they both stared down basically an army of 10,000.
Yeah.
In both literal and figurative terms.
Yeah. I really don't know which way I want to throw my weight behind. Honestly, we could flip a coin and I'd be happy with the outcome.
All right. Well, do you want to do I've got a coin right here we can flip.
Okay. Tails is Maximus.
Okay. Tails is Maximus. Here we go. Flipping. Drumroll, please. And it's Tails. Maximus moves on. That was
all right.
That was a good battle there.
Tails never fails.
Tails never fails,
first, folks. You heard it here first, folks.
I was personally kind of halfway rooting for King Leonidas, just because, 300 is a badass movie. I love that movie, but Maximus is still a tough choice.
Yeah, no, it's a great fucking matchup there.
Mm-hmm.
The toughest of the bracket so far.
Oh yeah, we don't have a very easy one next though either.
Oh Jesus Christ! Hell no, we don't.
So we've got probably two of the most badass explorers on this list, or the most badass explorers on this list, I would say, actually. And I don't think between the last one and this one, it doesn't get much harder than this, than these two, at least in the play-in games. But we have Lara Croft, who is the original heartthrob of all the teenage boys playing PS1.
Torpedo tits.
Torpedo tits. And the Professor, Indiana Jones. I don't know.
Honestly, you've got two heartthrobs right there.
You really do, yeah. One for each gender.
Sex.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just looking at it, my first gut feeling is to go Indiana Jones,
Mm-hmm.
but Lara Croft. Basically, they're the same character,
They really are.
but just a different gender. That's literally it.
And the one
Um,
thing too, Lara Croft does it in next to nothing. She doesn't wear hardly anything at all.
I mean, that is true.
So she's battling in these jungles and tombs and God knows where with.
But that is kind of practical because if you're in the jungle, it is hot.
Well, it is hot, but you do want that extra protection against the mosquitoes and the
Fuck that. There's
ivies and
mosquitoes
all that
for a
crap.
reason.
Well, I mean, personally, you want that extra protection that some more clothes would provide.
Okay. But I don't know, man. Right here, I think in terms of knowledge and know-how,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to give it to Indiana Jones.
Knowledge and know-how, yeah, I could do that. I mean, he is
knowledge
the
and-
professor.
Knowledge and know-how go to Indiana Jones because he was, I believe, if I'm remembering right, he was some kind of like espionage intelligence person in World War II. When we found that out in Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, which that's one of the better. It's super underrated, I think. Yeah, I'll go out on a limb and say that I truly enjoy that movie. But so he's got this incredible wealth of knowledge, incredible know-how, and like hand-to-hand combat, and he's just a super funny character. I think he's more funnier, sorry, than Lara Croft.
Well,
I'm just looking for a slight edge here, one way or the other.
Lara Croft's character itself is not meant to be funny. It's just meant to be just pure action.
Oh no, and I
and
totally
thriller.
understand that.
So
Totally understand that.
Whereas Indiana Jones, at least parts of his character are that sarcastic asshole type of character where he likes to cut in some of those more humorous parts.
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm just trying to find a slight edge one way or the other.
Well, I mean, there is a slight edge on the top one. I mean, boobs.
Okay, fair enough. But honestly, I'm pulling for Indy. Okay,
Indy does use a whip. So,
yeah,
I mean, there's that.
Okay, my vote is Indiana Jones.
I think there have been more movies that portray Indy as just a straight up badass than what Lara Croft has. As much as I'm pulling for Lara, I think Indy has the better repertoire to show.
He's got the background of work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Whereas Lara Croft's, I mean, she's coming up very quickly. I mean, they've got another movie coming out very soon.
Oh, and it looks phenomenal.
Badass.
Phenomenal.
Plus, I mean, Angelina Jolie played the first two movies or the first one, or I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, but as far as the repertoire, I think Indiana Jones gets it.
Good.
I think we can both agree on that.
I didn't want to have to go to Indiana and fight you for this, so I thank you for that.
All right, we are into the first round. I keep hitting the scroll wheel, so this keeps dropping down. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so do we want to go back up to the top again and work our way down from there?
Start at the top and work our way down.
All right, so first one we had pirates. Now we have a pirate and a pirate.
I don't know how you describe him.
This guy is this guy's interesting. Inigo Montoya, you killed my father. Prepare to die. I mean, badass. Versus our own Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah,
this is an interesting matchup here.
And we've already talked about Jack a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I need to say much for Montoya. Simply, the only thing I will say on his behalf is that he is arguably, in this whole bracket, either the most driven or very, very close to the most driven character. So he's got that drive.
With
Which
the
is
exception of 2 on the other side, I would agree with that. But those other 2, I don't think they can be put above or below
yeah, no,
as
but
far as
that's
that
what I'm
goes.
saying.
So
Like
I think
he's
yeah.
very close to the top of the list. And I think that is the one thing that might put him over Jack Sparrow in this
Well,
case.
he trained his entire life to get revenge for the six-fingered man.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, Jack Sparrow is on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't really trained at all, but he has done his damnedest to make sure he doesn't die.
And it's almost shocking
whether
that Captain
whether
Jack
it
Sparrow
be
hasn't died yet. Like,
yeah,
honestly.
whether it be battling Barbossa,
Mm-hmm.
battling a 400-foot lady in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the fucking sea, fighting zombies and Davy Jones.
I haven't seen the new one yet, but
The new one's great. And he almost died in that too a couple of times.
which it wouldn't be a
But
Pirates movie if he didn't.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. So honestly, I hate to go against the captain, but my personal pick is going to be Inigo Montoya.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there with you.
I think he's just the most driven, and he's
Mhm.
got his eye on the prize, and he will not
Mhm.
take no for an answer.
Yes.
And he ends up winning in the end. I mean,
Mhm.
oops, there we go. I like that pick. Now we have a good, interesting matchup here.
Oof. This is a good one.
John Rambo versus Lee Christmas.
And for those of you that don't know, this is Jason. Statham's character from Expendables. Sorry, I had a little something in my mouth there.
Which is really funny. This could have been a play-in game too. Because
it could have been, but this is honestly better than any of the playing games, I think, with the exception of the King Leonidas. That is what it is.
Yeah.
But this is a great matchup. You've got two extremely badass characters, probably arguably two of the most badass characters in the whole tournament.
Yeah.
Rambo, because he simply took on a sheriff's department, the National Guard, just because he wanted to walk through this town.
Yeah.
Right? And Lee Christmas, total badass character. He went back and saw that his ex-girlfriend or whatever was getting abused.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? He took out the guy and his whole crew.
Yep.
And almost cut his balls off. So yeah, props to Lee Christmas. That was just in the first Expendables.
Yeah.
So, and you really don't want to piss off a guy who could throw knives that well.
No, and I think arguably that's one of the more badass parts about him. I mean, yeah, the whole backstory of how he got there, yeah, that's truly badass. But the fact that he can throw knives with, if not the same accuracy, more, or if not more than the same accuracy as a weapon, as a firearm, then at similar ranges, just straight up.
And like even when they're sitting in the bar at the end of the first one, I think he just kind of flicks it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not even in this competition. He flicks it and it's still better than two guys throwing knives at a dartboard.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it looks like he didn't even
effortless.
try. It's effortless.
He is effortlessly badass.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
whereas I think Rambo has to have some of that effort.
Well, I mean, he trained.
Yeah.
He trained to get there.
Yeah.
He's jacked for a fucking reason, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, and I'm not trying to take anything away from him either.
No, but I'm just saying, like this dude, he saved his commander in Afghanistan. He even went into, I think it was Cambodia. Yeah, he went in Cambodia and took on fucking drug dealers and smugglers and shit, whatever. In the most recent one, I think it was 2006. Was that when that movie came out? So I mean, John Rambo, he ages. He ages.
Oh yeah, he does.
But the badassery stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
The badassery stays the same. So, Lee Christmas, they both had. Rambo's had one more movie. However, Expendables 4 is apparently in the works.
Really, I had not heard that. So we can't really We can't
So
really hold one against the other on that terms.
yeah, that but the body work thing kind of applies, but technically doesn't really apply right now because we'll see whenever Expendables 4 comes out.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm going to give my edge to Lee Christmas.
I was going to do the same just in terms of the knives. I mean, it's so effortless for him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I was kind of leaning.
I would much rather listen to a British dude than Sylvester
Stallone, who
Stallone's.
doesn't, you can't understand him. Period.
That's his own language.
Yeah.
It's just Stallone.
All right, I think Lee Christmas wins this one. All right, moving down the list, we've got a interesting matchup here as well. Evelyn Salt from the movie Salt versus the man, the myth, the legend, the beast, Chewie.
We've already said a lot about Chewie. I'm going to say a little bit about Evan Salt.
Yep.
So for those of you that have not heard of this movie, essentially, if I remember the gist of this movie right, she's just your grab-a-mill person.
Mm-hmm.
And then something click, and like she's like a super sleeper agent.
Yep.
So she's a super badass character at the flip of the switch, and she's like trying to find her way again, and figure out what really happened in her life. So
now this was another Angelina Jolie movie, correct?
yes.
If I remember correctly, now I don't know if this can count towards her character, but Angelina Jolie actually did most of the stunts in this movie.
Yes, she did. And it totally incredible.
Oh yeah.
There's some phenomenal action scenes.
I mean, she was on the ledge of a high-rise building at one point, which is incredible in and of itself. Honestly, like as much as Chewie could just tear somebody apart, I think Evelyn Salt would be quick enough to avoid Chewie long enough to tire him out.
And she's also highly intelligent too.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how smart Chewie is. I that's the one bad thing I have to say about
Chewie. Chewie seems to be smart, but there's no reference to how smart he is.
Evelyn Salt is book and street smart.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Chewie's just street smart.
I could do that.
So we'll go ahead and advance Evelyn Salt if you have no more qualms.
I'm fine with that. I think that's a good.
I think we were both leaning that way anyhow.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, Chewie.
Yeah, sorry, Chewie, but oh well. Now we have the John McClane versus Terminator.
I'm torn on this one. I'm so torn. John McClane is arguably my favorite action star, like action character ever. Mm-hmm. Arguably. But now, the Terminator.
How many Die Hard movies was there?
5.
5. Okay.
The first 3. Then there was one in like the early thousands, and then one came out a couple years ago.
Okay. So we've got that book of works.
And then, Terminator's been in just as many.
Yeah. So that's I figured we could throw that out there right away so that we could, get that off the table. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise, I mean, you're looking at two guys that, well, you're looking at one guy that managed to not only avoid capture in this massive building full of terrorists, but also talk over radio while not being found to a cop who might as well just be as badass.
Oh, yeah. Give him some Twinkies,
and
man, he is unstoppable.
He's unstoppable. But the fact that he managed to stay unnoticed and undetected for so long.
And he also survived in the streets of Harlem naked, wearing a sign that says, "I hate niggers."
That too.
Mm-hmm. Of course, on that part, he had a little help from Sam Jackson, but semantics.
I mean, yeah.
Actually, that one's more details, but I love the word semantic.
Well, I mean, Terminator is basically just a robot though. So,
No, and like he's got his own qualities. Like
oh yeah,
he was a mindless drone, and then he actually was able to start thinking for himself. You know what I mean?
oh yeah. No, that I mean,
So I mean, you got two totally different ends of the spectrum. And now, if I remember right, in the most recent Terminator, he is also like invincible now, because he put himself in the vat of whatever. Oh, shit, what is it? Terminator 2.
oh
The
yeah.
in the vat of that um, metal thing
Mm-hmm.
where it's regenerative. So like now he can regenerate his own person, whatever.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, in terms
Oh yeah.
of just straight up, I think now correct me if I'm wrong in this statement, but I think the Terminator is overly badass. You know?
I don't know what you. Oh, when you say overly badass, what do you mean?
I think there could be just one or two too many qualities that make him so unstoppable that it outweighs the flaws that he has. Whereas
Hmm.
John McClane definitely has some flaws, but he manages to overcome those flaws by realizing what they are and working to avoid them or counteract them.
Gotcha. So I don't have a problem with this, but you're saying John McClane.
I would go with John McClane for the sheer reason that John McClane is human and has flaws, but still has to work to overcome them. Whereas the Terminator, I don't think has the flaws that could stop him necessarily.
Okay, John McClane. I don't have to be convinced.
I didn't think you would, but
John McClane. So such a good fucking character.
very good character. All right, we come up here to our other side here now. We've got William Wallace and Maximus.
Now we've discussed Maximus here, so I'm gonna talk a little bit for William Wallace.
Yes.
There's no character more inspiring than William Wallace when he wants to get something done.
Very true.
He inspired a ragtag bunch to fight when they were outnumbered. He's cunning, he's strategic, and he met a very untimely demise in the movie.
Yes, he did.
Now, in the matchup against him and Maximus, they have the same exact qualities, I think. However, Maximus started at a much higher point, fell, and built himself back up.
Yeah.
William Wallace started from the bottom, worked his way up, got put back to the bottom, and then went all the way back up to the top before he got,
Yeah.
whatever.
He had to climb the rungs twice.
Yes. And I think that, to me, puts William Wallace out ahead of Maximus.
I would have no quarrels with that.
Okay. And
I could agree.
that hurts me a lot because I'm a big Maximus guy.
Yeah, and honestly, like this one could have been decided by a coin toss too, I think. But I think William Wallace does deserve that. Moving on, just for the fact that he climbed it twice. Throughout the whole movie, I mean, he went up and then got thrown right back down, just to turn around and overcome again. So yeah, I think
Give that man his freedom.
Exactly. All right, there we go. We've got William Wallace moving on. Now we have one that we haven't seen yet either. This one's fun. I'm excited for this one. We've got Benjamin Martin. For those of you that don't know this character, he is the main character of The Patriot. So obviously Melly Gibson being in this character as well. But Benjamin Martin versus Eli from the Book of Eli, who is played by Denzel Washington.
Now, there's Benjamin Martin is the epitome of badass in this movie, and so he's already a decent soldier, whatever, proven, battle tested. But when you kill somebody's family, Oh, it's on.
Well, I
It's
would even
on.
I would even go as far because he was a living legend to a lot of people in that area,
Hmm.
and people looked up to him because of what he did in what was it, the war? It wasn't the War of
It was
1812. It was
French and Indian War.
French and Indian War. Yeah. So people looked up to him because of what he managed to do, and he still chose not to fight until he had to.
Yeah, until he was personally vested in the war.
Hmm. And
Now,
he begged his children not to get
mhm,
involved.
yeah. Now, the book of Eli. Eli, man, this blind man on a mission.
Hmm.
Okay, in a world without books and knowledge, he takes the last copy of the Bible,
Hmm.
which that is what it is. But he is so dead set on just taking it and trying to make sure it finds a good home, because in that world, knowledge is power.
Hmm.
Um, and the fact that he was able to take this across the United States to the last whatever bastion of knowledge, Alcatraz,
Hmm.
um, and do it all blind,
Hmm.
and you don't really find that out until close to the very end of the movie too.
That's
Which
one of his most redeeming qualities for this bracket, I think. The fact that you don't know there's what the flaw is in him until the very end, where yeah, he's got one of the hardest flaws to overcome.
hmm
So yeah.
this is very much a hard one for me, but I think I'm going to go Benjamin Martin, because I could relate to that. If
Yeah.
if something like that happened to me, I feel like I'd do the same fucking thing,
Oh yeah.
because vengeance is sweet.
Well, not only that, but he when he became vested into it, he was just going to get his revenge and then end it. He was done. He didn't want anything to do with it. But at the more, I mean, the longer you watch the movie and the more he realizes what they're actually fighting for, it becomes clear that he not only
Yeah.
needs to stay in it, but he needs to win.
Hmm.
And you can just
Yeah.
see that character change throughout it. And
Yeah.
I
hmm
can agree, Benjamin Martin
The,
definitely
the character
gets that.
development there takes it.
Hmm.
Sorry, Eli.
Oh, Eli's a fantastic character too, but Benjamin Martin is probably one of my favorite from my childhood that I remember watching consistently. I loved that movie. I still do. I have it on Blu-ray.
I
All
just love
right.
the fact that somebody gets a cannonball put through their body in that movie.
That too. Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. And the other thing about him too is the fact that he uses his son that was killed. He uses the little toy soldiers as
Oh yeah, as
bullets
bullets.
to kill the officers, which is that's just another. And then the tomahawk too. I mean, just
Hmm.
crazy, crazy guy. Now we move on. We've got John Lee Swagger versus the Professor Indiana Jones.
It pains me. This pains me. I'm a huge John Lee Swagger fan. If you
Hmm.
guys have not seen the movie Shooter, go watch it. He's, I think he's Special Forces sniper. Um, he's Special Forces sniper.
Now this one,
Um,
this is Jason Statham too, right?
no, no.
Who is
Mark
it?
Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, that no, I'm thinking. Sorry, similar cover. Sorry, no,
Okay,
I know what I was thinking of now. Never mind. Yeah, Mark
but
Wahlberg.
but yeah, Mark Wahlberg, John Lee Swagger. In summary, he's recruited, doesn't want any part of it, to protect the president. He's convinced. He's set up uh, and blamed for the murder of some other high-ranking dude. Manhunt. He outlasts the manhunt and ends up providing enough evidence to clear himself.
Hmm.
So totally savvy guy. Um, everything's there. He's a true patriot,
Hmm.
and he was able to make sure that he was proven innocent and everything, and still was able to bring down the bad guys.
Yep.
Um, Pains me to say this, but bye bye Indy.
Bye bye,
I'm voting.
Indy. Oh.
I'm voting John Lee.
Now I think I'm going to let you make this decision because I have not actually seen the movie Shooter. So this will
Oh
be
shit.
this will be on you. Um,
I don't know. You want to let me have that power?
On this one, just the story you told. I mean, I think, and you, I know you love Indiana Jones. I know you love.
Yeah.
I know you love him. So
Mm.
the fact that you're accepting the defeat on behalf of Indiana Jones on this one, I think it's enough to move
Yeah.
JLS on.
We're gonna go ahead and move Mr. Swagger up. Oh, I feel so dirty.
Well, I mean, no matter who gets to move on, everybody's a winner in this, honestly.
Oh yeah,
So
no
mhm.
doubt. But it still makes me feel a little dirty.
Now this is one of my more exciting matchups. I think
I think this is the most.
this is the most look forward to of the first round.
It's also the most out of left field because who would have
Oh,
ever expected this to come happen?
exactly. And this is actually really funny how this turned up too. So it just ended up perfect. It
Yeah,
really did.
I mean, now I'm gonna talk a little bit about Little John, and I'll let you side with Tony Montana or
Okay.
give a little talk about him. So I'm gonna start with Little John. You know, in the most recent Robin Hood, or any Robin Hood for that matter, he's like the unsung hero, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he keeps Robin on course, really, and provides much needed support throughout
Oh yeah.
in terms of comedic relief in some parts and just pure muscle
Mm-hmm.
in others. Um, so like I watched the most recent Robin Hood here recently. You know, he's a big badass dude.
Mm-hmm.
Super funny, and it's like he can be depended on when shit hits the fan big time.
He's one of the better sidekicks,
Yeah,
and
and
in all.
the best part of this is that he trusts Robin with his life,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just talking from the most recent Robin Hood with Russell Crowe, and that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Basically, him and the other Robin meets the other two guys. They're all locked up and they all escape. But then by the end of the movie, they all fucking trust each other with their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me says this dude's fucking stand up guy. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you can go from all just fucking escaping, you know, being locked up and shit together, and then you know end up liking each other, that's tantamount to itself.
Oh yeah, and I mean, part of that is the fact that they fought for the same cause.
Mm-hmm.
They had a cause and they rallied together and basically kind of bonded over that. But yeah, I very awesome character. Whereas this other one is awesome, but in a completely opposite manner. We have Tony Montana on this side, and I mean, first off, he literally does smoke or snort mountains of cocaine, just like just like the Jack Sparrow song from the Lonely
Oh, that's such
Island
a great
side.
song.
Yes. Tony Montana is Scarface, and I mean he's got that badass scar not only to invoke fear into his enemies, but also to invoke fear into his subordinates. And he just commands the respect. And when he doesn't get it, he easily takes it out on everybody else.
He loses his
He
fucking mind.
loses his mind and loses it in the most calculated way I think you could possibly have. Because each move he has, I believe, is very calculated, and I could honestly say that Tony Montana is very clever and smart in how he runs his empire.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
So
He I think he puts up a very good mask of being unhinged,
oh yeah,
but I think he's totally in control.
yeah,
Even though at points he doesn't seem like it.
oh yeah, and I think that just adds another layer to why, I mean, or why he is, you know, the commander, you know, the leader. And he just, because nobody knows what's going to have him unhinged and how it's going to affect them. So they have to stay in line. And I think all of it is a very calculated strategy from him. So It's completely opposites. You've got one guy that is literally fighting for the greater good, and the other guy who is one of the just psychopaths that is very calculated and smart, that could murder anybody that he wanted to without even blinking. So, in terms of cocaine snorted, I think Tony Montana wins this by a long shot. I don't think anybody really could compete with him on this one.
Yeah, I mean, Little John was a drunk. Yeah, I'd be willing to accept whatever you pick. You put that power in me last time, so I'm putting the power in you this time. It's only fair.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. Okay. Well, in this case, as much as I love Little John, and I'm not, for the record, I have not seen the new one. So I have not seen the new Robin Hood, or the newest one. So I'm going based off of my prior knowledge of Robin Hood on the rest of them. And I honestly I have to have Tony Montana move on. Honestly,
if I can move him on, man. You gave me that power once, so I need to give you that power. It's only fair.
All right. Whoa, wow, I spelled that wrong. Okay, now we move on into the final, or the Elite Eight here. So, are you ready to just power on through this?
Yeah, let's get it done.
All right. Inigo Montoya versus Lee Christmas.
We've talked about them both. My vote has to go to Lee Christmas.
I've got to go with Inigo Montoya.
Okay.
Honestly.
No, that's fine. Coin flip?
I'm okay with that. Okay.
Coin flip, you call it. I called it last time.
Okay, I'm going to go heads is going to be Inigo Montoya. Up and oh my gosh, it's heads. We're 2 for 2 right now. I can't believe that. That's awesome. So Inigo Montoya.
Let's move him on, man.
Oh, I spilled. Okay.
And we're going to talk a little bit less about everybody now, because we've already honed in on some of the best aspects of these people. So it's like, why beat a dead horse?
Exactly. Yeah. Evelyn Salt versus John McClane. Sorry.
Is this going to surprise anybody in my vote?
I don't think so.
John McClane.
The one thing I have to say about
motherfucker.
The one thing I have to say in defense is that Evelyn Salt, I mean, was up in the buildings too, but I think John McClane is definitely the one that.
John McClane's resourcefulness is a very redeeming quality that I don't think anybody else has.
And then just on the sheer amount of repertoire that we have from him.
Yes.
So I think that's an acceptable pick. All right. This is the most anticipated one that I think on this round. William Wallace versus Benjamin Martin.
Mel Gibson versus Mel Gibson.
The good old-fashioned Mel Gibson in this round.
My vote goes to Benjamin Martin.
I don't think we can really choose differently.
Yeah. As much as I love William Wallace, there's no way William Wallace would ever beat Benjamin Martin.
No, I don't think just the sheer fact that Benjamin Martin has so much behind him that he could kill any number of men at the drop of a hat, but chooses not to. And then when he needs to, he can pull on that skill and just go ham. I don't think William Wallace stands a chance.
Not at all.
Okay, John Lee Swagger versus Scarface.
Oh, this is a tough one.
This is a tough one.
This might be the toughest in the Elite Eight.
I think so. Yeah, I could agree with that.
Mostly because I know you haven't seen Shooter, but the background I gave, I think
you did a good job.
He puts him on the same plane as Tony Montana.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
In terms of planning and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Essentially, what this might come down to is: do we want to go with the atypical hero character, or do we want to go with Scarface?
Now, I don't want it to seem like I'm choosing this because I haven't seen the movie, but I still like Scarface.
That's fine. If put Tony Montana in,
Put Tony Montana in.
put him in, put him in there. I think
I just don't want to. I just don't want to get murdered.
Yeah, I mean, John Lee would put a bullet in him from about a mile out. So,
Oh
but
yeah.
that's not what this is about. It's
Yeah.
about who's a better character.
Okay. Inigo Montoya versus John McClane in the final four.
Oh, see, this right here, two very driven men.
Mm-hmm.
These
Very.
are so in the of the final four, we have the three most driven people in this bracket: Benjamin Martin, Montoya, and John McClane. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I think you'd agree there.
Very, yes. And I think that's part of the reason why they're in the final four.
Oh, and trust me, agreed, 110%. This is a very tough call.
Mm-hmm.
But my boy John has to win.
I can agree with that.
Okay.
I can honestly agree with that. I don't think Inigo Montoya really has the same drive that John McClane does.
John McClane brings the whole package. I don't think Montoya brings that.
No, he's I don't want to say one-dimensional because he's not, but he's very focused on one specific thing, whereas John McClane is very focused on
On
almost the greater good.
Yeah, he's on the side of the greater good.
Mm-hmm. So I can agree with that. I'm happy with that choice.
Okay.
Now this one is going to tear at my heartstrings. Benjamin Martin versus Tony Montana.
If we're going pure bloodlust, Benjamin Martin.
Yes, no doubt about that.
So that's one tick for Benjamin Martin. Okay.
And I think, honestly, you could even give another tick to Benjamin Martin for the smarts within the whole like strategy.
Yes. I think he is more strategic than Tony Montoya.
Mm-hmm.
Montana. I said Montoya.
Yeah.
Montana.
It's
Whatever. Similar names.
We knew what you meant.
I'm mush mouth, okay? Just leave me alone. But I do honestly think Benjamin Martin would pull this one out.
I could agree with that. I don't think Benjamin Martin would be as not frightened, but put down by Tony Montana as...
Oh, he would spit in his face and move on with his life.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think Benjamin Martin would be nearly even close to being afraid.
I don't think Scarface could handle that, to be honest.
No, I don't think so. Because he never really faced that.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Now here is
this championship.
God.
Oh, man.
So
it's brutal.
It's honestly kind of funny because Benjamin Martin is the type of guy that I loved. You know, his character I loved growing up. Whereas John McClane, you loved him growing up. So, and you still do. We both.
Because you put both these guys in the bracket. I didn't pick either of them.
Exactly. Yeah, I put both of these guys in the bracket.
Oh, shit. I don't know, man. Okay. My line of thinking here is Benjamin Martin is essentially John McClane, but in a different time period.
Yeah.
Because Benjamin Martin, he does what he does because he's trying to protect his family and protect the greater good.
Yep.
Same thing with John McClane. I'm looking for one way or the other here.
Here's something. There is a scene in The Patriot that literally has always just torn me apart. It's where they go and visit the family on that island where they're safe, and Benjamin Martin's daughter, the youngest one, still will not talk, because throughout the whole movie she never really talked since her mother passed.
Mm-hmm.
And Benjamin was trying so hard to get that little girl to not necessarily acknowledge him, but just say something to him. And that, he tried so hard, and then he had to go away, and it just like he lost all momentum. And then as you see him just completely downtrodden and hurt by the fact that his daughter literally turned her back on him, he's riding away with Heath Ledger, and you hear, "Daddy, don't go," and she's crying and runs up to him, and it's just this heartwarming moment that adds another level to Benjamin Martin, I think. That he worked so hard and he finally got one thing, and I think that just drove him at the very end of the movie to finish it off, and this is what I'm fighting for.
That's very true. And you see the same kind of thing, not exactly, but the same thing with John McClane.
Yeah.
His wife is kidnapped, used against him. His daughter is kidnapped and used against him. And his son is in trouble, and he goes out to bail him out. Okay? The fact that
family...
the fact that he still cares about his family, and like, after, in the fourth movie, they've him and his wife have been divorced. Okay, and he hasn't seen his daughter nearly ever. But the fact that she is surprised that her dad is trying to rescue her, and he's still like, "Don't fuck with my family."
Yeah,
same deal with the son. The son's estranged. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing here, Dad?" When they're in Russia. And he goes and fucking saves him.
Both of these guys show tremendous, like, not only your stereotypical traditional man, but the family man. Because not only are they doing what they're doing for the common good, but they're doing it for their families too. I mean, John McClane has a lot of levels to him, that aren't not necessarily shown in the movie, but are expressed very well throughout the movie. So you feel for him. Whereas Benjamin Martin, it's almost kind of the opposite. There's a lot that is kind of behind the scenes that you don't get. Whereas you get that same thing on screen with McClane. And Benjamin Martin kind of works hard in almost the exact opposite range. He's fighting for the common good while worrying about his family, and he's got kind of the little bit of his family in there, but most of it's actually, the common good, and then also his revenge. So, honestly, now this is going to be an interesting proposition for you. I'm going to type something down in the winners box, and I want you to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down what you think. Benjamin McClane. Honestly, I don't think even a coin flip would satisfy me on this one.
It wouldn't do it justice.
No.
But this is a bracket. Hearts are meant to be broken.
I don't even think it's a matter. Like, if Benjamin Martin wins, I think John McClane got screwed. If John McClane wins, I think
hearts will be broken. BrownieBits. Flip that coin.
All right.
Flip it. We need a winner.
We need a winner. Okay.
This is such a bad way to do it.
This is. Okay. So you choose.
Tails never fails, John McClane.
Tails never fails, John McClane. Okay, here we go. Coin is up in the air. It's on my hand, and it is. Oh. It's heads.
God damn it. God damn it. That's fine. Put him in there. He earned it fair and square. Benjamin Martin.
I'm honestly more shocked that Tails did fail this time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so heartbroken for my boy John McClane, man. But you know
I am too.
But this is the madness of March, man. The madness of March, Ooh. Hearts are meant to be broken. Shit is going to go down. Life will move on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, sorry for you guys that picked Jack Sparrow to win it all. I don't know what to do. Your bracket was busted pretty quick.
Yeah.
But for those of you that had the underdog, Benjamin Martin, he beat an early favorite. He beat an early favorite of John McClane.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a couple surprise upsets.
Yeah, there were.
And the better man pulled it out. Okay.
I think they were virtually the same man in different time periods.
Yeah.
So
You just brought down my epic wrap up a little bit there, BrownieBits. So, but anyway, with the bracket being over, I'm not letting you talk for a little bit.
Okay.
With the bracket being over, that brings us out on the end of this episode, which brings us into Brainbusters, dad jokes, and the end.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get it started. You want to do Brainbusters or dad jokes first?
Well, let's do some dad jokes.
All right, I'll let you get started.
Okay, what are caterpillars afraid of?
I don't know.
Dogger pillars.
Oh wow. All right, this isn't a dad. This is a dad joke, but it's not like a joke per se. It requires a little bit of setup. I was watching a video earlier, and this guy is in his car, and the passenger asks, "Hey, is it raining outside?" And he's got the driver's got an ice cream cone. He sticks it out the window, waits a second, brings it back into the car, and at first it was just a plain vanilla cone, and when he brought it back in, it was covered in sprinkles. All he did was say, "It's sprinkling a little bit."
Yes, I love that. That one's great. Oh man, I love that. Okay, here how about this one? How many apples grow on a tree? Sorry.
All of them.
All of them.
I'm pretty sure I said that one earlier. Way back when.
Quite possibly. Well, in that case, I slept with a woman who cooked a ton of pasta last night. She gave me carbs.
Our wedding was so beautiful. Even the cake was in tears.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a great one there.
All right. What does an annoying pepper do?
Oh gosh, what does it do?
It gets jalapeno in your face. Sorry, it gets jalapeno face. All up in your face.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I got it.
I'm not a good,
It's okay.
I didn't put the in the right words on the right spot.
Well,
enunciation. That's the word I was looking for. I'm a wordsmith, guys.
Okay. So, do you want to move on to brain teasers? Because I actually don't have any more jokes on me right now. Actually, you know what? No, I have one. I have to look it up here real fast. I forgot. I saved this one specifically on my phone because I saw it and thought of us.
In the meantime.
In the meantime.
Why can't you have a nose 12 inches long?
Because then it would be a foot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so your joke, and then we'll do a riddle or two and wrap it up.
Yes. Okay. A slice of apple pie in Jamaica is $2. It is about $2.50 in the Bahamas. These are the pie rates of the Caribbean.
I saw that. I saw it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, wait a second. Oh, this is great.
These are the pie rates of the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. Yes, love
These
it.
Are pie rates. Oh, it's so great. That one was good. I appreciate that. I almost forgot about that. All right, so you want to do one or two riddles? I don't have any this week.
Yeah, I've got one here.
Okay, let's do one, and then I'll do a quick social media craze.
And I've got one Shannonism. So okay. A boy and his father are in a car crash. The father dies, and the boy is rushed to the hospital. The surgeon sees the boy and says, "I cannot operate on him. He is my son." Who is the surgeon?
Can you say it again?
A boy and his father are in a car crash. The father dies, and the boy is rushed to the hospital. The surgeon sees the boy and says, "I cannot operate on him. He
It's
is my
his mother.
son." Yes. It is.
Sexist.
All right. Well, then, what's your social media craze of the week?
So earlier this week, I made this discovery online. I think it was somewhere in the U.S., either the U.S. or the U.K. And there's a picture of a pothole. Now, this thing isn't your normal pothole. It's not terribly deep, but it's incredibly round. So like the top maybe inch or two of asphalt's gone, and it's in the length of like 3 or 4 feet tall by like maybe a foot or two wide. So it's like a little divot, just a very big one. Not terribly deep.
Yeah.
But very annoying. So the city posted a picture of one of their inspectors going around measuring this pothole's depth, because that's what would meet the pothole criteria. But they did this in an effort to try and make a point that their taxpayer money was going to good purposes. However, that immediately got way back in their face, because people are like, and people started posting stuff about, oh, how deep is this? They started photoshopping this guy like measuring the depth of a sink, saying, oh, I guess my sink isn't that deep. All kinds of other things.
The Grand Canyon was in on that too.
Yeah,
and a bunch of them. They were great.
Oh, and it was fucking hilarious. So just my little adage there. So, and the reason it came back up in my radar is because there was a screen cap of somebody stepping out of bounds, and this guy was in bounds in March Madness here, and the referee called him out of bounds even though his foot was a couple inches inside, and so somebody photoshopped that guy measuring the distance between his foot and the out of bounds line.
That's great. That's a good one. Yeah.
So that's my social media craze.
Love it. All right, let's end.
Also a bonus social media craze. The UCF Knights again, still in the news. National champs. They shouted out at the UMBC team because they beat Virginia. They were the 16 seed, and it's just like they were throwing shade on the whole college football system. They're like, oh, would you look at that? An underrated team coming out of a, quote unquote, undeserving or underappreciated, division, upsets the number 1 seed. That's what a real bracket or a real playoff decides, So they were throwing shade on everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Good old UCF Knights still in the picture. Man. National champs. Fuck Bama.
Well, there you go. Those are some great social media crazes. All right, so we've got one Shannonism for you, and I think it's a doozy, and I think it counts for like 12. So this is after Ryan Braun hit a home run. He's working us over like a pair of kissing cousins.
Oh, man.
And yes, he did say that on the radio.
God, gotta love Missouri.
Gotta love good old Mike Shannon, the voice of Cardinals baseball. I love listening to that guy. All right, well, I think that just about wraps this one up. We had a wonderful 20-person elimination tournament in honor of March Madness, because we were still on coming off the high from the UC or the UMBC win over Virginia, and this was very fun. I had a blast. We should do this again at some point in the future.
I'm all for it. Ethel, quit feeding the fucking ducks. Ethel, stop it. They're annoying.
Come on,
guys.
Ethel.
We might have another hashtag divorce Ethel week coming up.
Oh,
I can't
man.
stand them fucking ducks, guys. But
All right.
peace out. I gotta solve my marriage crisis.
Bye.
Hashtag divorce Ethel.